Palmer, you got us?
All right, Devin, ready to go.
Let's do it.
All right, Devin, we're going to get started with a question from Colin Harmon with ABC 15. He'll be followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Devin, good morning.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good.
Hey, just curious, I guess, your reaction to the offseason moves that you guys made with Chris and Jay specifically. And for you, how is the feeling different this year going in now that, I guess, there's a lot of expectations and hype surrounding this team, which you haven't really had for, your first few years in the league here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, stay at the same thought process and stay motivated and stay with the same tunnel vision. But, it's obviously the changes that we made and, the depth that we have on this team now. So, obviously very excited to get out there and start competing with these guys. But as far as the expectations, the hype, the projections, what people are saying about us, it's still the same mentality that we had in the bubble. We're focused on getting better. And we don't really care, what people are saying. We have very talented people, in this group, and we understand that. And now it's our job to, get the best out of this group and get the full capability of, each player on this team.
Next up, we have Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Richard Syons.
Hey, Palmer. Devin, just to follow that up, Chris was on yesterday and talked about you and him having battles going back to you with going into the draft and how intense it gets when you guys play against each other. Knowing that and knowing about him, two-part question. One, how intense does it get when you guys go at it? And then two, what do you feel like he can bring to the team in that regard?
I mean, it gets very intense. I think he said yesterday, we be about to fight sometimes, but I think that's just two competitors going at it, and trying to win the game, and at the same time doing anything for your team to win. And if that's not being friends with your friends at the time while you're in between the lines, then those are the lines you have to cross. But I mean, he's an ultra competitor, and he's been for many long years. That's why he has the resume that he has. But his leadership, even in his short time here, just the camaraderie of bringing everybody together and, keeping everybody aware and locked in, just his presence around the team just makes you want to work that much harder. Like I said, knowing his resume, knowing the places that he's been, that we're all trying to go. So, just following his lead, but at the same time, adding our value, and all helping each other out, with the main goal of trying to win every basketball game we can.
All right, next up is Richard Syons with Fox 10. He'll be followed by Kellen Olsen.
Hey, Devin, good to see you again. It seems like, just yesterday, you guys were making that 8-0 run in the Disney bubble, and the season, just ended. So this is I know a quick turnaround, but considering the way you guys finished, in the bubble and the moves you guys have made in the off season, are you kind of glad that it's been a quick turnaround because you kind of wanted to hurry up and get back on the court and finish, kind of what you guys started?
Yeah, I love basketball. So every time it's, approaching that time where we get the chance to, I have competition on myself in my workouts. Every time I go out there, we have competition between teammates and shooting drills and one-on-one drills. But, you can't recreate that feeling of playing against the other team and doing, everything in your power to win. So I'm getting excited to getting back to that feeling. And, we definitely had some great energy building throughout the bubble, great culture forming. And, with the additions of this team that we have, with there being a lot of them, with some veteran guys, some grown men that, know their role and know what they are in this NBA and, have the same objective of, competing and winning games rather than, getting better and, trying to prove what you can do. I think we have a really sound team of people that, know what they're capable of doing and, figuring out how that meshes together as a team is, our next objective.
All right, next up is Kellen Olsen with Arizona Sports. He'll be followed by Christos Saltos.
Hey, Book, good to see you. So you got to play with Jamal 2 years ago, and I know you talked a lot about how that was one of your idols growing up. And this year you get to play with Chris, who I'm sure holds similar ground for you. What can you take from what you learned from Jamal 2 years ago that can kind of go into Chris now and like the kind of like absorbing everything Jamal told you and what I'm sure Chris will be telling you this year too?
Those are two Hall of Fame guys, in my eyes. And being a student of this game for a very long time, I told Chris, when I used to visit my dad in Mississippi sometimes, I watched him play in New Orleans, like watched him play live. And to think I don't know the exact age, don't quote me, but probably 14, 15 years old, and just being a fan of his game. I think people pulled up some old tweets of me being excited about getting invited to, his skills academy camp. Pre-draft, he came and worked out with me, D'Angelo, and Carl. So, as many times in the past that we've, crossed paths, and obviously I knew who he was a long time before NBA was, even in my mind. But, just even guys like Jamal and Chris, like you said, just being around them, just soaking in everything you can, just being a sponge to that, hearing the stories that they have. Those things keep me motivated and, make me want to make my mark and people to be able to tell those same stories about myself, as I continue and keep going through this thing.
Next up, we have Christos Saltos with Sport DNA in Greece. He'll be followed by Cody Cunningham.
Hello, Devin. I would like to ask you how excited you are about the next season with the moves that Phoenix Suns made, and do you believe that this season your team is one of the playoffs team in West?
I'm excited. That's what we've been talking about a lot of time on here. But we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves of, trying to live up to the expectations that everybody has for us. I've never been that type of guy. I have in-house goals. We have in-house goals as this team and for this culture. So, we're going to stick by that. And that's what we're going to do. Worry about what we have to worry about. And that's winning basketball games. And that's developing this team and figuring out, that it is a short turnaround. How are we going to get out in the court and figure out, how we're going to get things done and, how are we going to mesh together.
Next up is Cody Cunningham with Suns.com. He'll be followed by Kent Somers.
Hey, Devin. Every year you seem to prove something new. You proved you could be that go-to scorer. You proved that you could be the face of the franchise. You proved that you could be a legit playmaker. Now in year 6, what are you looking to prove? And throughout these years, what motivates you?
Just win basketball games. That's my main objective. Like you said, I've taken steps in many directions, and the one column that I feel I have to change the most is the win-loss, and playing playoff basketball and playing competitive basketball to the point where we're getting where we want to go, wherever that is to us. But it's just an everyday grind, man. I come in here every day and focus on the same thing, and I keep saying it's to get wins and whatever I have to do that. So, any talking I can do about it isn't gonna change that. It's the work that we're gonna put in, the communication and the leadership, that we have right here in this locker room where it's gonna get done at.
Next up, we have Kent Somers with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Tressa Rusnak.
Yeah, Devin, thanks for doing this. I know you don't want to, get too far ahead of yourselves, but what you guys were able to accomplish this summer, and plus, the additions of Chris and others, but where do you think the organization is as a whole right now compared to, a year ago or 2 years ago?
I think that's for everybody else to decide. Like I said, obviously making improvements, and I feel like the culture has definitely changed, even from the bubble to now, or from the season to the bubble. Over any amount of time, you're going to build and nurture and grow. And we've took tremendous steps. And I think with the additions of the players that we added, we have a depth team with with a lot of IQ and guys that know how to play the game. So, you know, I think everybody in this locker room is locked in and are students of the game and love the game and love the process. So overall, when you walk in this gym every day, you know, it feels like an environment that you can get better in. And, you know, we already have some really good players in here. So, you know, it's a fun environment to work in. It's a loving environment. It's a caring environment. And Coach Monty and his staff have came in here and implemented that into us. And we've taken that and ran with it. And, you know, it feels good, but, you know, we're still building.
Hi, Devin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time. I just wanted to ask you, Chris mentioned kind of like you said, the stories, your back history with each other. Is there a memory or a time when you guys were playing or just something that sticks out with him in particular that you could recall?
So many. I think he told the story. The first time I actually got to get on the court with him was that pre-draft time when it was me, Carl, and D'Angelo, and he had just lost in the playoffs with the Clippers, and we were out in LA training, and you know, he pulled up fresh off the season. And that meant a lot for us, for, you know, a Hall of Fame guy, all-star guy to, you know, come in the gym and work with us guys that haven't proven anything in our careers yet. So, you know, it just shows you how much he loves the game, you know, fresh off a playoff loss to be out there in the gym with some pre-draft guys, you know, getting some good work in. I remember after the workout, he invited us over to his house, you know, started talking to us about off the court things we have to look forward to or look out for going into the NBA. So, you know, just his presence always, you know, not only been basketball, and his resume can speak for itself, but, you know, the things that he does with the Players Association, the things that he does for this league, and the leadership that he brings to all of us, you know, is very big time.
All right, Devin, next up we have Kirsten Susel with 12 News. She'll be followed by Greg Moore.
Hey, Devin, sometimes when there's someone that you look up to and they think very highly of you, and obviously Chris Paul is one of those guys, has nothing but amazing things to say about you and your game and your work ethic. Does that motivate you to hear that kind of stuff, or know that he now thinks that of you?
Yeah, that drives me. You know, you can feel it. Like I said earlier, you can feel his presence in the gym, and it's not, you know, it's not necessarily you're out there to impress him. You know, you just know the level of play that he's played at, the level of intensity and the level of competitive spirit that he's always performed at. And, you know, I've never dealt with it firsthand and being next to him, but just watching from afar. You know, so just taking that similar approach and implementing, you know, my own type of ways. There's a lot of guys out here that, you know, I respect at a tremendous level, but, you know, at the same time, I have to compete with them. But this time it's a little different. You know, I have this guy in the locker room. You know, same when we talk about the Jamal Crawford, you know, a couple of questions ago. You know, these guys are full with rich history, and I love it, man. And these are places that I'm trying to go and things I'm trying to do. You know, so it definitely holds me to a higher standard every time I walk in here.
All right, Devin, next up is Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Brendan Clean.
Devin, what's up, man? Good to see you.
What's up, Greg?
Nothing too much, dude. I was thinking about Cam and Mikhail and Dario and them shooting after practice. Cam said yesterday he's the best shooter. I want to know if you're going to get in that. I know how competitive you are. Are you going to get in that competition to show these guys what's up?
What competition?
Just 3-point shooting, maybe after practice.
Man, tell him I got the 3-point trophy, man. So I'm first, second, and third. Once Cam gets over there, we'll talk to him, man. Nah, I'm kidding. Cam has a stroke, man. You watch it. He's one of those guys that you watch it come off his hands, and every time you think it's in. So it's perfect release, great height on it, great arc. And you see the improvements that he made in the short amount of time just from the season to the bubble. So he's coming into his own. And, yeah, I see him on the other end shooting. It looks good, but I wouldn't take it that far, Greg.
And leaning on your expertise, man, like you being a student of the game and all, how important are those, you know, role players, so-called role players, so-called supporting cast to the support of any team with high aspirations?
I mean, I think you just have to understand it's a team sport at the end of the day. especially if if you're a fan of the game and you watch the playoffs and you watch the defenses that, are tailored to these high-powered offenses, everybody has to be able to play the game. Everybody has to be able to shoot. Everybody has to be able to pass. So it's just the versatility, of knowing how to play and not necessarily going out there and running this play, running that play. It's a read and react game. And I think our team has that. So the versatility, read and react, just keep getting better for us. I got away from that. I forgot what the question was.
No, actually, you're good, man. I was just thinking about just how important are those kinds of guys. Everybody's going to put a lot of pressure on you and Chris and DeAndre. We know that, but I get the feeling that the other guys are going to matter.
Pressure on everybody,
right?
Double team everybody. So we have options out there, and like I said, it's just a read and react game. So people are double teaming, I get off, I make the right play, and you have very talented players. I wouldn't even say role players, what you guys call role players, out there. Very talented guys that can make teams pay for any type of junk defense that they do.
I agree with you. We need a new name for that. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next up, we have Brendan Clean with Bright Side of the Sun. He'll be followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Devin. Jay Crowder came on the radio here this week and said that you had reached out to him when he was making his decision. He had other offers, maybe more money, different role, different places, but that conversation was helpful to him. But then even on the other side of it, that seeing what you guys did in the bubble made him feel like this was a place he could come and win. And that's not necessarily what guys would have said in the past. And so I'm curious from you, what stood out about Jay that you thought would be a good situation here, and B, just kind of what it means to hear from a guy like that who's done so much winning that he feels like this is a place he can keep doing that.
Yeah, man, that says a lot. I think that was what was most important, for this organization and this team this summer is, one, having guys wanting to come here. Guy like Jay wanting to come here, guy like Chris, a Hall of Fame guy, wanting to come to Phoenix after what we've been through, for the past 5 to 10 years. So I think that's a step forward for this organization, and people really see something's brewing over here. I'm trying to not get ahead of myself, but, I think already this is a big step for this organization. And it's perfect timing, man. We have the new arena up, the new practice facility that we're in now. So it's a great culture around here. And it's still building. That's what we're working on every day, is keep building the culture, keep making this, this facility, this locker room, a place that guys want to come and keep getting better, because this is fun for us. We're having fun in here. The energy's high, the personality's out, and the competitiveness is there. We can joke all we want walking in the locker room, but once we touch the weight room and touch the court, it's all about business with this group. And I've just noticed that in the short time here. So, the culture's rising, and those staples, those guys that, are wanting to come out here and join this team, has been a big plus for us.
Next up, we have Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic. He'll be followed by Brittany Hardy.
Yes, Devin, a two-parter. One, obviously, knowing Chris and having played with DeAndre, how do you see that marriage working? Obviously, Chris always has a connection with the bigs in terms of lobs and just playing pick and roll. And then two, just the new practice facility. What do you think of it? Is it what you expected or even more?
Yeah, the relationship between Chris and DeAndre is going to be great, man. I've already pulled DeAndre aside a couple of times to be like, this is what you needed, and this is what I needed also. And that's saying nothing to any player that we've dealt with in the past. But Chris, he's a guy that he expects greatness, out of us. He expects to win, and he wants to win very badly. And I'm on the same page as him, so I know he's going to do and say anything and hold people accountable at all times, to reach that goal that we're trying to make. And, we already have the understanding amongst all of us that, we have the same goals and where we want to go. So there's gonna be a lot of constructive criticism around here, which is what we need. I feel like that's how you build culture, is being honest with each other and, holding each other accountable. So, hopefully we can create an environment where, we can all learn from Chris in that way, of being vocal and, letting people know where they need to be, and competing with people and doing it with love, doing it with care, not doing it with, intentions of showing somebody that they messed up, but intentionally to really get better and learn and not make the same mistakes again. And, that's going to be good for me and DeAndre.
Next up, we have Brittany Hardy with NBA TV. She'll be followed by Paul Richardson.
Hi, Devin. The pandemic changed the way we watch sports. What is it about the game that keeps you engaged, keeps you motivated as a player during these unprecedented times? And what about the game draws in fans?
You said, what about the game that keeps me driven?
I said, what about the game that keeps you engaged and motivated during these times? Yes.
I just love it, and I want to be the best at it, and I haven't lost sight of that. And I want to win basketball games. I want to win a championship. I want to do a lot of things. So there's a lot to still be motivated about. Obviously, with so much going on, it's kind of escape. When we go into our bubble, when we go into a facility and are tested every day, it's a sense of security where, you can let it down and just get better. So we still have goals. And it's changing the way people view it, but for a hooper and for me, it still feels the same. People are asking about what's the environment like in the bubble. And you heard multiple people say it, it's a hooper's environment. It's just strictly basketball. And it's easy to focus into like that with no distractions and a whole lot of extra things going on.
Next up, we have Paul Richardson with the Sports Cave. He'll be followed by Kellen Olsen.
Hey, Devin, how you doing, my man?
What's up?
So everyone talks about offense, but Coach the other day said that you're also an incredible competitor on the defensive end, and you're like to guard your position. What is it going to be like now bringing in Jay, who is, a dogged defender along with Chris, and the attitude and the mental toughness that's going to be on that end of the court to complement what you guys already do offensively?
Yeah. I guess we'll see. We definitely have some dogs, man. We have some go-getters. We have a lot of people that I feel like they don't want their matchup to score and they don't want their teammates' matchup to score. So, basketball, is contagious on the offense and defense and with communication. I think team defense is how you can improve people's individual defense, to helping each other out and talking and being there early and rotating early and knowing if you rotate that your teammate has your back. And I think with a bunch of guys that, understand the game and have a high IQ for the game, mixed with that dog, that intensity where you don't want your man to score, is gonna be a good mix on that defense end. So, I can see a lot of little in-team competition of somebody saying don't let their man score at some time on this team. And I can see people switching matchups, whoever. I think we have a versatile group where, if me and Jay and Mikel are all out on the wings, guarding wings 2 through 4, that we could switch. Same with Cam, same with everybody on this team. So the versatility and the communication is where it's going to be key.
All right, Devin, final 2 questions. We've got Kellen Olsen with Arizona Sports, and he'll be followed by Jace Frederick.
Right.
Hey, Book, I know it won't surprise you that a lot of people's first thoughts when Jay was announced was the 70 the night of, and you guys just having a little fun banter. Were you guys able to laugh about that in a couple conversations you've had? And I know everyone's like making a big deal out of it, but obviously like that's just some friendly stuff, and you guys are competitors at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. This has happened multiple times in my career with Troy Daniels at one point, and now Jay. But people have to understand, man, especially with me, the trash talking has always been part of my game. Having fun with the competition has always been part of the game. But nothing's ever stretched past farther than the court. For me, and Jay's the same way. And we were talking about it earlier, just guys that want to compete and love to compete at that highest level. Obviously it's going to get emotional. Obviously you don't like to lose. Obviously, like I say, you don't want your man to score on you. And those are the type of guys that you want to be around also. That's how you create that energy, that aura in that field. And we've talked many times after that. We haven't even brought that up. So that's not even something that we would even speak about. I'm sure at some point in the season we'll laugh about it, but that was just good, friendly social media banter.
All right, Devin, final question is going to come from Jace Frederick with Pioneer Press.
Hey, Devin, Timberwolves reporter hopping on from Minnesota. Ricky Rubio, I just want to know, playing with him last year, how did he help your game? And did he maybe make your game as an elite scorer a little easier at times? And do you think he can have a similar impact with D'Angelo this year?
Easier at times, easier at all times. I talked to Ricky, after the trade happened. I just thanked him for being a part of that, of coming in here and changing that culture and, showing what an NBA team and having a leader around that's going to come in here and work hard every day and try to compete. And I've told D'Angelo he's going to love him already. And I'm happy he's in a good place back in Minnesota. But I'll never forget what he's done for my career. One game shy of the playoffs. That's one thing that we talked about. That was one of our goals that, we almost got to. He also told me he was happy he could be a part of my first All-Star and help me reach that. So, a lot of love for Ricky Rubio and his career and, his short time spent in Phoenix will never be forgotten in my eyes.
All right. Appreciate the time, Devin.
Appreciate it.